4 psychological habits that will bring you inner peace. I want to securely expect that we as a whole wish we had somewhat more internal harmony in our lives. All things considered, it's hard enough to adapt to the pressure of working environment, legislative issues, or family dramatization when your psyche is clear and still. Yet, when you're attempting to do it with a brain that is humming with stresses and instabilities, second thoughts and ruminations, dissatisfactions and disturbances, well, it tends to be overpowering, if not totally incapacitating. Be that as it may, here's the thing about obvious significant serenity. True serenity isn't a regular thing for you or find right away. It's something that is developed gradually and deliberately. At the end of the day, true serenity comes from great propensities shaped purposely after some time. In the event that you need to develop a more settled, gentler, and more tranquil brain, these 4 propensities are a decent spot to begin. 1. Discussion about how you feel. Since difficult feelings feel terrible, our characteristic sense is to dodge them. Naturally. The solitary difficulty is, at the point when you continually flee from your feelings, you show your mind that feelings are awful. In any case, agonizing feelings are awful, isn't that so? Not by and large. Consider the big picture. When you contact a hot skillet on the oven, is the torment terrible? No, not in the slightest degree. Despite the fact that torment feels terrible, it's in reality acceptable. Torment is a courier advising you to move your hand so you evade the genuine threat. Tissue harm coming about because of severely charred areas. All things considered, feelings work a similar way. Feelings themselves are not awful or hazardous. They're simply couriers attempting to impart something to you. Since your feelings feel awful doesn't mean they are awful. Yet, on the off chance that you deal with your agonizing feelings like foes by fleeing from them or attempting to dispose of them, you train your cerebrum to see them that route later on, and this solitary makes you more receptive to them and keeps your psyche continually worried constantly. Fortunately, you can balance this impact by doing the inverse. By inviting and communicating your feelings, rather than fleeing from them, you show your mind to be more quiet even with troublesome sentiments. In the event that you need somewhat more inward harmony, start discussing how you feel inwardly. 2. Work on feeling bad on purpose. We as a whole vibe terrible now and then. We get a flood of uneasiness or dread. We go from large and in charge to testy and crabby in only a couple minutes. We feel tragic and just can't shake it. Difficult feelings are unavoidable. However, listen to this. Life goes on if you feel better. Time passes, openings go back and forth, and our lives walk forward whether we're feeling better or feeling hopeless. In the event that you stand by to chip away at that novel you've been needing to compose until you feel genuinely enlivened, it's never going to occur, and you're going to feel terrible about yourself meanwhile. In the event that you stand by to begin that new business you've longed for until you're feeling sufficiently certain, it's never going to occur, and you're going to feel terrible about yourself meanwhile. On the off chance that you hold on to tell your children you love them until it feels more characteristic, it's never going to occur, and you're going to feel terrible about yourself meanwhile. Numerous individuals can't discover inward harmony on the grounds that their brains are overwhelmed with laments pretty much all the things they didn't do. The antitoxin, excruciating as it might sound, is to figure out how to do what is important, paying little mind to how you feel. This is the best way to stop the steady stream of disappointments and frustrations. More difficult than one might expect, obviously. Clearly, it's simpler to go to the exercise center in case you're feeling invigorated, much the same as it's simpler to ask out that charming person when you're feeling certain. And keeping in mind that hard things will consistently be hard, you can make them much less hard with training. In particular, you can work on getting things done notwithstanding not having any desire to. Like a competitor developing perseverance and fortitude, the more you work on inclination awful inwardly, the more resistance to it you will fabricate. To liberate your psyche from the steady pressure of disappointment, work on doing significant things regardless of how you feel. The following time you need to run after an objective yet don't feel like it, pose yourself this inquiry. Would it be a good idea for me to view it feeling awful as an impediment or as a chance to prepare? 3. Update your expectations. I consider most us realize that excessively exclusive standards of individuals are anything but an extraordinary thought. Expecting that your companion will consistently be feeling acceptable is a setup for exorbitant peevishness and hatred. Expecting that your workers will consistently act in the organization's well-being is a setup for over-the-top dissatisfaction and frustration. Expecting that your arrangements will consistently go well is a setup for unreasonable tension and stress. Since here's the thing about assumptions. The world and the majority of individuals in it are shockingly unconcerned with your assumptions. This implies that a large part of the time your assumptions will be disregarded. What's more, when that occurs, you will be persistently amazed, and not positively. The issue is that shock resembles an enthusiastic speaker. Seeing your life partner feeling terrible might be somewhat baffling. However, seeing your companion feeling terrible when you anticipated that they should be in a decent one is significantly frustrating. Having your arrangements not work out is baffling. However, having them not work out in the wake of persuading yourself that they would will be majorly frustrating. In the event that you need more significant serenity, you should relinquish unreasonable assumptions for individuals. Obviously, you can't simply kill your assumptions totally. They have their utilizations from time to time. Try to start analyzing your assumptions consistently and, if necessary, refreshing them. Life and others will consistently disillusion you. In any case, you'll be significantly less baffled in the event that you quit anticipating the universe of them. Make time to refresh your assumptions routinely and you'll be undeniably more quiet and serene for it. 4. Implement healthy boundaries. At the point when I previously drafted this article, the title of this part is Define and Enforce Healthy Limits. However, let's face it, defining sound limits isn't actually the issue. It isn't so difficult to request that your manager quit messaging you on the ends of the week. It isn't so difficult to advise your grown-up youngster to find a new line of work and move out. It isn't so difficult to advise yourself to go to the exercise center after work. Of course, defining solid limits can be somewhat awkward. In any case, the main problem here is implementing the sound limits you do set. Since here's the arrangement. Defining a limit and not upholding it is more terrible than not setting it in any case. Consider everything. What are you instructing your chief in the event that you disclose to her you would prefer not to be messaged on the ends of the week yet then thumbs up and react to her end of the week messages in any case? You're instructing her to not pay attention to your solicitations. What are you training your grown-up kid on the off chance that you disclose to them they need to find a new line of work and move out yet continue to allow them to live for nothing in your home and sponsoring their computer game habit? You're instructing him that your solicitations aren't in reality all that significant. What are you training your own mind on the off chance that you continue focusing on beginning another exercise routine in any case, always failing to finish on it? You're instructing yourself that your objectives don't actually make a difference to you and that you're not an entirely solid individual. Defining limits without authorizing them is simply one more type of self-harm. The following time you consider making a genuine solicitation of somebody or defining another limit, ponder what it will truly take to uphold that limit. Since, supposing that you don't, you're preparing individuals in your day-to-day existence not to regard you. Furthermore, more awful, you're annihilating your own self-confidence. The two of which will prompt a great deal of pointless enthusiastic torment and mental pressure. All you require to know. We're totally focused on in light of the fact that advanced life is only an unpleasant spot. Yet, however many stressors as we experience and need to manage in our lives, it's a lot simpler to manage them well if our internal world is quiet and serene. In the event that you need to develop a more quiet, more tranquil psyche, work to assemble these 4 propensities. Discussion about how you feel. Work on inclination terrible intentionally. Update your assumptions. Uphold solid limits.